All Update with your host, Sean Spencer and Alex Loosemore.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is your boy, Sean Spencer, one half of that dynamic duo, this Let's Talk Football. And you see who I'm with. You see I'm with the amazing blue behind him, Mr. Alex Loosemore. What up, Alex?
Not too much. As always, love a chance to talk college football. Especially game being out, love to talk about that. And about 5 weeks away from week 0.
Oh yeah.
It's gonna come quick.
All starting to come out. The media day was for when,
depending where a Big Ten media day was last week or the week before. Some of the conferences are doing it right away here. We're getting into full swing. A lot of these guys are going to be going into that fall camp now, getting ready to play, and it's going to be interesting. Going to hear a lot of news coming out in the next few weeks.
Absolutely. I went back today and I was watching the Texas spring game. And obviously Quinn Ewers didn't get much to any action, but we saw a lot of Arch Manning. And with a lot of that talent, and they were pretty live out there and letting them play. And I can't lie, he was looking good. He was looking good, man. And a lot of anticipation with that. More so because of another thing that we've been doing. See, the college football, the actual live games have not happened yet, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to College Football Update. But NCAA 25 is here. It's officially here. We came out on Tuesday and talked to you about how if you pre-order it, got the deluxe copy, then you were able to play at 4 o'clock on Monday. But for everybody else, Friday was the day. Now it's funny because when I was watching the thing on ESPNU, every other commercial was NCAA 25. And it was like, oh, I'm so hyped. I'm so hyped about it, man. So, hey, it's here. Last time I talked to you, there was not much else you were doing but playing the game. Has that changed? Has anything changed with that?
So I've kind of dove into other parts of the game, but it's still been a lot of the same play in that game. Started a road to glory. Originally went as a 3-star quarterback to Kennesaw State. Was a little in over my head playing. I was playing Heisman difficulty. I was like, maybe not best to start as a 65 overall quarterback starting for a team. So I was like, let's back out, start over. So now I'm the second string at Northwestern.
Okay.
And gonna build myself up, and eventually I'll probably play a year there and then see where I can go in the transfer portal. But Dynasty's in full swing, where I'm actually, once this is done, I'll be in round 2. I had a first round bye of the playoff, second year in a row with the first round bye, and we're playing Florida in the Rose Bowl, so it should be a good one.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah, no, I still have not got into Road to Glory. When the first came out and my dynasty wasn't working, I did go into that and I created my guy. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know that I would have ever gotten to the actual gameplay because the creation of my guy was just, so intricate. My guy had a neck collar. I was looking at all the different helmet variations and all that, and it was just like, oh my goodness, how am I gonna ever get to play? So I'm eager to see what that's like. Like I told you, I am by myself this week. So I have been playing pretty much nonstop if I have not been at work. And so I've gotten pretty far with Marshall, I think into about season 4.5. And one thing I will say, and we'll discuss this later on into the season, what we've been able to see, you talked about having the first round bye and the CFP. I've also been able to kind of work around and play in the CFP. Since I've been in Marshall, we're in the Sun Belt. So as you know, you got to be blemish free. You have to have no blemishes on your record to get in. And I was able to get in, I think my first year and shocked the world, or no, my second year, shocked the world, went undefeated, was able to win it all. But I'm going to tell you, year 3 over there, I lost to JMU. I was 12-0 all the way, doing great. Got into the JMU game, and it was close all the way. They pulled it out. I missed a field goal late in the game. They were able to win. Didn't make the Sun Belt Championship. Didn't even qualify to get into the Final Four.
Oh.
And it was just like, what is going on? What's going on, Marty? How you doing,
What's
man?
up, Marty?
Oh, man. So right now we are in another season like that. We've already lost in like week 2. We lost to UMass 44-42. Oh. Another missed field goal. And I don't know which is worse, the missed field goal or saying that I lost to UMass.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? So, but, we've been doing good. Defense is kicking my butt because I am having a hard time. And so let's get into that, because like we talked about last time, this game is catered to the explosive plays, the jet sweeps coming around, the trick plays. That I don't know if you run that flea flicker where like he running off, hands it to the running back, and then he hands it to the receiver, and the receiver pitches it back to the quarterback.
I haven't yet. I gotta find a playbook that it's in. And
I have run that play, calculated 3 or 4 times in this game. It has worked every time with the guy going deep, and I'm like, this is just magic. This is beautiful, man.
Yeah,
I love that. So but this game is catered to that. And it also kind of affects the way that you recruit. You kind of have to not cater towards how, like in the old games where it was like, this guy's a 76 or this guy's an 80 or this guy's this. You have to cater to the skill type. This guy has speed. This guy has hands. This guy has, maneuverability, can, turn, stop on a dime, these type of things. Talk to me about that, because you being on a big name team, you do get a lot of the top prospects. I am scrounging, I just got my first 5-star 2 years ago. So talk to me about how that impacts the game and how that impacts your offensive play call.
Yeah, I think it's a great thing that they did where you don't get to see the overalls until after National Signing Day. After you've signed them, when you're doing position changes, all that, that's when you finally get to see the overall. Until then, you get to see about 10 different stats. And where those attributes are on the scale of 0 to 99. Usually it's 10 of their best ones, or position specific. But it really, like you said, it really helps in, okay, I'm going to build a fast team or a team that can, or wide receivers that can turn the corner for those end around jet sweeps, or good route runners, or however you want to build your team. You're going to be able to see those specific stats when you recruit these guys, when you're scouting them. And then it's going to help you be able to be like, okay, these are the guys I'm going to go after. These are the guys that maybe, like, worst case scenario, I'll get these guys instead, but these are my main guys. I really like what they've done with the recruiting this year.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it makes it so that you don't necessarily need to get the 5-star elite guy. You can get a 3-star, and if you put him in your system and he works in your system, I mean, he can take the top off defense, and all of a sudden you got this guy in the Heisman race and he's a 3-star. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I mean, I love that. I love that they're able to do that. I mean, we talked about, how you're able to hit the edge, those angles. The angles in this game are so important. Because if you are able to sit there and beat a guy to a point, I mean, I've been able to return a number of punts and kickoffs, things I've never been able to do before in the NCAA game. And it's because of you just hit a certain angle, you turn a certain way, and the defense realistically reacts, like where they got to kind of they don't stop on a dime and turn right away. They got to kind of backpedal and do all the stuff. And I love that happens. I love that when I'm on offense, when I'm covering this crap on defense and they run a play and the corner misses the tackle, and then all of a sudden I have a safety and another guy over here, but they can't get a daggone angle. I have a problem with that. So it's great when you're winning, but Alex, talk to me, because it's terrible on the flip side, man.
Yeah, well, and there's so many times where I'll feel like I have that great angle with my linebacker, and all of a sudden that running back just turns the corner ever so slightly and he's gone.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
Yeah.
I was right there.
Yep.
And just that little boost and change of direction for their attributes was the difference in stopping it for like a 5-yard gain and a 65-yard touchdown sometimes. Like it's sometimes that difference is make or break. They said that the game's going to be a lot more skill based and there's going to be that skill gap. That's very true because defense is insanely hard to play, and I've never been somebody that's great at playing defense on these games. And I hold up from time to time, but defense is insanely difficult in this game.
Yes. Number one thing, it stops you from being able to run 1 or 2 plays consistently on defense. The AI or whatever it is in the offense, they figure it out. Same with when they're on defense. You can't run that jet sweep 100 times. I know, I've tried. Eventually they pull that safety and that corner down and they sit there and they wait for you. You know what I mean? So I really like how they were able to do that. And another thing, see, for me, I was always decent at defense. I had a couple good plays that I knew would work, but I was great at run defense. You weren't going to run the ball on me. You might get the passes on me, but you weren't going to run. But the only issue I had in the old games was mobile quarterbacks. In this damn game, they are damn near impossible. You talked about your guy being a cheat code. Good God, man. I mean, I love how they've made these guys a true dual threat, and them throwing on the run is a big deal in some of those attributes that go up. But talk to me about how that kind of is a cheat code for you when you got a guy in the backfield where everything is locked up and that thing opens up and it's like, the Red Sea has just parted, you know?
Yeah. Well, and it's with Michigan having Alex Orji, he's fast enough where if I'm getting into trouble in the pocket, I can do that old fashioned, just like run straight back out and around, and I can get out and just be gone. Yes. It really feels like playing with RG3 in the old games is kind of how it feels. He's the guy with like 91 speed and 93 throw power and decent accuracies. And it's just like when I have the chance to make a play with him, it happens almost every time.
Yes.
He's a senior now. Like I've only got a couple more games with him, and I'm not happy about it.
Taking your time.
So sad to see him walk out the door. Hopefully he can play somewhat like he's playing in the game in real life this coming season if he ends up being the starter. But these mobile quarterbacks are so deadly. Like we said with the running backs being able to turn the corners and all that, the quarterbacks are the exact same. And pretty much everyone having abilities in this game. None of the abilities are game breaking, but it gives the little boost to all these players.
Yeah.
Where mobile quarterbacks are already dangerous, you give these little abilities on top, and they're so insanely hard to stop.
Oh yeah. They absolutely are. And then when you pair that with our topic today, which is wide receivers, and some of these wide receivers, I'm going to tell you something, man. One of the things that I hated, and I know I talk to you and Will about this all the time, in the old game where I can have a guy, I run a play fake, I got the safety to bite, and he's in the other direction. I got a wide open wide receiver. I step back, toss it, it's going deep, and then all of a sudden this safety has ungodly speed and just gets all the way over there to pick off or knock out the play. And I'm like, what? Are you serious?
Yeah.
Or you throw it right across the middle where you have the distance between the linebacker and your guy, but the linebacker makes this amazing jumping catch. I love in this game how if the safety's 10 or 15 yards away and he doesn't have that speed, he's not going to get back across the field. He's not going to go over there and make the play. And if the safety or the corner has turned, if they backpedal and they turn to go with the one receiver, if you then throw it the other direction, they're not going to be able to immediately just adjust. It's going to take them some time. It's going to leave you that space. And I love that. But that also makes me, when I'm recruiting, look at these guys at wide receiver and running back. And I'm looking speed. I'm looking who's in the 90s, who can catch, but also and it escapes me right now, but there's a certain characteristic and attribute in there, and it's like the turn up fielder, not stop on a dime,
Change
but it's
the direction.
Change the direction, right? Where if that's high, they kill, because you can tell if a guy catches it and he might be wide open and it's a tight end, and all of a sudden he turns and it's like he's running in mud. You know what I mean? It's like you were open. What happened? But I loved how that does that, man. But talk about that and how that affects recruiting too.
Yeah, I mean, to put it into perspective, there's a guy at South Carolina right now, Will's guy. I believe his name's Nick Harbor.
Yeah,
he's like 6'4", 6'5". He's like 99 speed, 99 excel. Like it looks like somebody created out of a lab. Right. And they put him into this game, and he's near unstoppable. Yeah. Everyone's trying to find their Nick Harbor for their school, essentially.
Yep, exactly.
These guys that are big, fast, can jump, spec catch, route running, change of direction. There's so many different things and so many different builds of wide receivers as well. There's the big jump ball guys. There's the Tyreek Hill like deep threats. There's the slot guys, kind of like a Julian Edelman. There's so many different builds in this game, and so many different types of wide receivers for you to have in your offense, to have that full arsenal of weaponry. And it again, what they've done with recruiting in this game has been amazing, and being able to find all those individual pieces for your team it's so much fun. I love it, and I think it's amazing.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. And listen, next show we're going to talk about coaches and talk about more in depth about the different types of coach you can be: motivator, recruiter, tactician, and how those, Alex talked about how those different archetypes break off and you can just compound on each other, and how big the offensive and defensive coordinators play in this game, and with how explosive it is. But yeah, like we said before, we're going to take a quick break, but we are talking wide receivers. We're going to give you our top 5 wide receivers coming in to the 2025 season. Give a sec. We will be right back. Yeah, buddy, that is my guy. Anton Benson lives in the Virginia Beach area, but will travel, does a lot of good work. That's just some of the stuff that he's been able to do. Check him out on awesome artisans, awesome_artisans on Instagram. Definitely does good work, man. And he will travel, man. So definitely get in touch with him. His number is on the card on there. So, what is going on, people? You know what it is. It's your boy, Sean Spencer. My guy over there, Mr. Maize in Blue, Mr. Restoring the Roar, Alex Luce Moore in the building, man. So, hey, and we're talking wide receivers. We're getting into it this year because it's going to be a new wide open season. And we've seen all the guys that were drafted and how that played such a role in this what's going to play a role in this season and last season. Talked about what we're coming into. Who are your top 5 guys, and what kind of impact in this game, in this evolving game that we have, are these receivers going to play in 2024?
Well, I'm just going to start off by saying this wide receiver group compared to last year's, where last week with the running backs, earlier this week, we saw a lot of the same running backs, just a couple different guys thrown in.
Yeah.
This wide receiver room is totally different. This top 5 wide receiver group there's one guy I had in my top 5 last year, made this year's top 5. And yeah, 4 new guys. Yeah. Phenomenal group of wide receivers still. this wide receiver group in college football is absolutely insane right now. Starting at number 5, well, I'll throw 5 and 4 together because they're teammates this year. One of them transferred from Texas A&M to Oregon. Mr. Evan Stewart is my number 5, and his teammate Tez Johnson is number 4. These guys are going to be a dynamic duo this year. Last year's top 5 had the 2 sets of duos, the Ohio State duo and the Washington duo, and both of those pairs showed out last year. I expect these guys to do the exact same. Stewart being that absolute speed demon and Dylan Gabriel being able to throw the ball all over the field. This offense should be so much fun to watch this year. Number 3, Andrew just put it in the comments there, Emeka Ibuka. He's the only returning player to my top 5 this year. Yeah. I'm shocked he's still there. I've been hearing his name for years and years and years. It feels like when they were talking about like Hunter Renfrow and all these guys the past few years.
Right.
And being like, how are you still playing? Sean Clifford for a while there as well.
Yes.
But he brings it game in and game out. And he's a guy that can do it from the outside or in the slot. Great route runner, great hands, can fight through contact. An amazing player, should probably be gone by round 2 in next year's draft. Number 2, name's a bit of a mouthful, and I hope I don't totally botch this, but Tetaroa McMillan from Arizona burst onto the scene last year. Him and Noah Fafita absolutely killed it, and I think they'll both just improve immensely this year. And can't wait to see what they can do in the Big 12. He's an absolute monster, and he's my number 2 spot. But number 1, far and away from me, Scott, if you're in there, it's Luther Burden. To me, it's not even close. And everything he does, his size, his speed, his hands, his route running, he's bar none. He is the number 1 receiver in college football this year. To me, it's not close at all.
Absolutely. Everything that he is able to do, and especially how they work him in that offense, it just sets him apart from the rest of the people in this group. And like, you got the Emeka Ibukas, you got McMillan, you got these classic type wide receivers. Lamar Burden is like a Debo, where you can put him in the backfield, you can run him in motion, you can put him out, in the slot, out in the X and Y. And I love that because it really, they showcase his ability out there at Mizzou. So 100%, that's my number 1. My number 2, and I'm not going to repeat, number 2 is the same with McMillan. I mean, I honestly, with him and Fafita, that is one of the teams that I have a circle on. I just want to watch them all this year because I want to see if they can replicate what they did last year. Then for me, number 3, obviously, Emeka Ibuka. The fact that he did stay back really impresses me because he could have easily gone on like his buddy, like the LSU duo that, or the Washington duo that both went into the pros. He could have gone on, but he's going to stay back. And look, this is his opportunity to shine. He can definitely jump up. He has the ability to do it. But let's see what he's able to do on that team that's got 2 dynamic running backs and might be on that run game a little bit this year. For me, number 4 was definitely Tez Johnson from Oregon. I know that's a little shorter, a little, farther down, but I mean, that's where you had him. And I'm only saying that because Alec, I know he would have him up there at number 1. Of what they are going to do with him, obviously with all the firepower they got in there, like Dylan Gabriel, I think that he could have a breakout season. For number 5 for me, I'm going to go a little different. I'm going to put Stewart right behind just because I want to see what he does with the transfer. For me, I got to stay in the ACC. All my Tar Heel fans don't hate me, but I'm going Kevin Concepcion.
Yeah, he's my number 6.
Yep, wide receiver out of NC State, man. 71 receptions, over 800 receiving yards on an NC State team that really kind of shocked a lot of people. Definitely beat us 2 years in a row, so I don't like to admit it, but I definitely am eager to see if he can duplicate last year into this year and definitely blow it up. Let me see. Oh, yeah. Here we go. There we go. Absolutely.
That's my 6 and 7 right there.
Yep. And then right here with Ricky White from UNLV. And then, So, and I love that. And matter of fact, Matter of fact, I'm gonna send this out to them. I love that. Talk to me about that, because that's where I was gonna go next. Who are your next in line? I feel like we talked about Ricky White. I mean, our 5 and 6 and 7 were jumbled, but still the same. I feel like if we're talking about NCAA 25, I feel like it's a crime not to put Travis Hunter in this list.
Yeah.
But at the same time, can we put him? Is he at top 5 or is he top 10? Like where would you have him?
I think he's clearly top 10 in both wide receiver and corner. I think he's that good. He's as advertised. I personally have him at 8. I think he's a phenomenal player, and I think if he was to just focus on one, he'd probably be top 3 on either side. Now I do have him as a top 5 corner personally, but everything he does on both sides of the ball is great. You look at Travis Hunter as a wide receiver, he's a great route runner. He's fast. He's got good hands. The mental side of everything too, he's got. Yeah. Like, this isn't one of those guys that is just insanely athletic but doesn't know the game. Right. He knows the game inside and out, which helps him at both wide receiver and corner, because him being so good at both sides, he can think about, hey, this might be what this guy is going to do. This is how I beat him. Exactly. And I love that he's been as good as he has both sides of the ball. I think he'll kill it this year. My last guy I'd throw into this conversation is from his rival school, Colorado State, Torrey Horton.
Yes. Okay.
He's one that was so fun to watch during that Colorado State game last year. Yep. I didn't catch the Rams in any other game last year, but watching them last year in that game, I was just like, damn, okay, like he's a baller. He can play, and I think he deserves to be in that top 10 conversation.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Hunter's abilities will only be properly utilized if he goes to a proper scheming team.
At the NFL level, 100%, yeah.
Definitely, they let him do what he's doing here. Isaiah Bond, the Texas wide receiver.
That's a fun one, too.
Oh, yeah. I was watching – like I said, I was watching the Texas spring game just a minute ago, and he was one of those where they're really touting him as that next up-and-coming guy, and I'm eager to watch, because obviously all eyes are going to be on Texas. Quinn Ewers, can he play the full season in the SEC? Will Arch play? Is he transferring? Obviously, we'll talk about all that. But I want to see Baxter. I love what they got. I want to see how they replace Jatavion Sanders at tight end. Who's going to be the next guy that steps into that role? For me, like you said, definitely Torrey Hunter in that game. Also, another guy that had a breakout game against Colorado, Eric. Manor, yes, who had the
Canadian guy too.
Right. 13 receptions, almost 300 yards in that ball game, all on Travis Hunter.
Yeah.
Right. You know what I mean? And to think in that game, I mean, they were down 29-0. And then Stanford came all the way back to end up pulling that thing out. So he had a game of games. So I want to see if he's able to replicate that. Then Juice Wells transferring to Ole Miss, the guy we'll talk about him from South Carolina. He's been injury plagued, so I'm eager to see if he can stay healthy and be that guy that he was supposed to be over at South Carolina. And then one other guy for me is Zachariah Branch out of USC.
Yes.
He was my first game ball last year. Had a big game, definitely a big special teams presence. So I want to see if he can restore that USC wide receiver like we started bringing back in these last couple years. But if he can bring back that number one draft pick type wide receiver to USC.
And talking about the video game, USC coming to the Big Ten, Zachariah Branch torched me multiple times in that first USC game. Where I was sitting there playing. I got ballsy. I was playing man coverage. Yeah. And I was like, oh, I got Will Johnson on him. We'll be okay. And just gone. 90-yard touchdown. I had them backed up against their own end zone. I was like, okay, let's play some press man. Let's get them. And just I paid for it so dearly.
That's all it takes.
So good. Such a cheat code in that game.
It is. Well, and so we're not talking about this today, but on the flip side, if you have a what's his name?
Will Johnson.
Will Johnson. If you have these top tier corners, they do play tough. Like especially with some of those passes where a lot of times you get burned out of the break, where you'll have him covered up and then he'll make the break and your corner is slow to get into coverage. But those corners will make the play and they'll also come up and make the right angle to where if you don't throw that ball correctly, you are going to get
back
hit.
that way. Yeah.
Yes. Number of games have been lost and won by me throwing an interception or them throwing an untimely interception where I was able to come back into the ball game. So, I do like that. But those are our top 5 wide receivers. Let's see if Noah Thomas can develop with Wegman. They can both increase the draft stock. My sleepers. And what is that? A&M?
Yep. There's a wide open hole for that wide receiver 1 right now.
Yeah. So we'll definitely see. Yeah, definitely give us your thoughts. Like Ben said, Ricky White, obviously Noah Thomas he was brought up. Definitely give us some of your thoughts of who you think is going to have a breakout year this year. There's a number of wide receivers. This is a deep wide receiver draft, but go ahead.
And the one thing, too, that I just thought about, where we're talking about how deep this receiver class is and everything, look at the schools we've talked about today for wide receivers. Mizzou, Arizona, obviously Ohio State and Oregon, but UNLV, Colorado State. Like, this isn't your Ohio State LSU only class.
Right.
You're going to get guys from all across the country, all different types of receivers that can all do so much for a team.
Exactly. And that's something that I'm eager to see. And this is the manifestation of the transfer portal, the NIL deals, guys getting the opportunity to go elsewhere. And they're not going to the necessarily prominent Titans, the Georgias, the Bamas, the Notre Dames, Michigans. Their players are still going to these places, but now you're seeing some of these guys go to other places. They had a report that a number of teams offered Luther Burden money to get him to come and transfer out, and he wanted to stay at Mizzou, and I love that loyalty. But also, at Mizzou, the talent around you is not going to be what it is at Georgia. You're not going to be sitting with all 5 stars and everything. The talent might be less, and the way that they use him and they utilize him in that offense, I mean, this Heisman contention, man. I want to see if he can. He can carry it out this year.
Well, I mean, you look at Luther's situation as well. There's not many better quarterbacks you're going to play with than Brady Cook right now. So you might not get the money and everything of playing everywhere else, but that's a pretty good situation to be a Missouri Tiger this year.
Oh yeah. So I'm eager to see if how much that Cody Schrader loss, how much that hurts them, and if Brady.
Man, if he could have been on that team this year.
I'm telling you, man. Oh God! And he just started cooking late in the year after that Georgia game, and as he started really grinding it out, man. If he could have had that one more year, man, watch out. That would have been dope. That would have been dope. But look, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to let you go, man. We just wanted to pit stop here on a Saturday, seeing as I think we have 5.
I will get the exact number.
yeah, take a look because it's not that far off.
5 more.
5 more
Saturdays.
Baby.
We will already have games done by today. 5 weeks from today.
Let's go. Come on, man. Week 0 is almost upon us, man. So look, brave the heat. Get through it. Okay? Because football is here. For some of us, football came back on Monday. And a lot of relationships might have been ruined. Can't say anything about mine because this game is taking over life. All right. Yes, I love it. Let's go. I've been waiting 11 years. Let's go. Anything is possible. Let's go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, for my guy, Mr. Alex Loosemore, it's your boy, Sean Spencer. We will see y'all next time. Be cool, stay in school, and don't be a fool, man. Talk to y'all later.
College Football Update with your host, Sean Spencer. Hey.